On today's video, I'll show you how to install this MTH Protosound 3 Diesel upgrade kit in this Santa Fe F3 AA Protosound 1 set. One of these engines is a dummy engine and the other engine is the powered engine, and I'll show you how to install the kit so that the powered engine has all of its existing functionality and the dummy engine has a coupler and the rear light. So let's get started. The first step, like with most projects, is to remove the shell of the engine, so we'll do that now. If you like this content, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel to help my channel with the YouTube algorithm. Your support goes a really long way. With the shell off, we can see the Protosound 1 engine circuit board, as well as the other components. One thing to highlight here is this is a constant voltage board on the front. We're going to remove that, as well as the existing volume pot. I'm just going to wire the kit directly into that volume pot. So with the engine open, we can open up our Protosound 3 upgrade kit and take out what's inside. First, we have the Tach tape, some screws. That's the lighting harnesses, as well as the speaker. Managed to remove it. There we go. The board and the couplers, as well as the heatsink for the board. First step is to remove all of the Protosound 1 components that we don't need anymore. This would be the original board, the constant voltage board, and the protocoupler. In the upgrade kit, you'll find two protocouplers, one for the front and one for the rear. In this specific set, the front is the powered unit, and then the rear is going to be the dummy unit. These protocouplers will replace the existing ones. If you're doing an upgrade that only requires one protocoupler, you must put a resistor in place of the existing coupler. With the coupler installed, the next thing we'll do is mount the board. The way I usually do this is I try and find an area where the board can sit, and I make holes if necessary. First, I mark them using a silver Sharpie, and then I just use a regular drill to make the hole. You'll need ones for the bracket, as well as a hole for the heatsink, and the heatsink also will need to get attached to the board using the supplied screw and thermal paste, which I got through Amazon, but it's available from any computer supply store. The next step is to attach the Tach tape to one of the flywheels. The tape has these guides to determine which size to use. Basically, take the guide, put it over the diameter of the top of the flywheel, and then find which one goes cleanly from one side to the other side. And then you would use the Tach tape that is associated with that guide. just remove the tape and put it around the outside perimeter of the flywheel. We'll also need to install the tachometer bracket onto the flywheel, which is where the Tach reader will mount to when we install the wiring harness. The first wiring harness we're going to connect is this 8-pin harness right here. Essentially, you have a red wire which goes to the center pickup for the track. The black wire goes to the ground of the trucks from the track. And then you have 2 yellow and white wires. One goes to one motor and the other goes to the other motor. You'll also need to replace the original speaker with the one that's from the kit. I show how to replace speakers in a different video. I'll put a link to that video that should pop up on your screen now, and you can go watch that there. With that harness completed, the next harness we go to is the last harness that needs to be installed. This contains all of the connections for the smoke switches, the Tach reader, all of the lights, as well as the coupler connections. For this, we refer to a page in the manual that shows which connectors with wires go to which lights and which couplers. One thing to note is that this engine doesn't have smoke, so I'm going to just electrically tape the connectors that would normally be used for the smoke. I'm just going to tape over them, and I won't mount the switch either that would be used for the smoke. So if your engine does use smoke, make sure to follow the page in the manual that shows how to convert a PS1 smoke unit to be used for a PS3 upgrade kit. So at this point, just identify all the lights that are required for your specific engine. In my case, what I decided to do was use a hot glue gun to put those lights in place in the front of the engine. This was because this specific engine didn't have rubber gaskets for the lights like some of the other engines had, so I had to use hot glue to keep those lights in place. Before we finish this project, the last part to go over is what I had to do to get the rear light and the rear coupler to go through to the dummy engine. So what you see here is inside the dummy engine. It has this sort of connection block there, and essentially on the powered side, I put the dummy coupler through 2 of the wires, in this case the red and black wire, and the rear light through the other 2 wires. Make a note of what color wires you put the harness and the light through, because you'll need to connect that on the other side in this dummy unit as I'm doing now. With everything wired up, let's test the engine. With the engine working and everything wired up, we're going to find a suitable Protosound 3 chain and sound file for this. One thing to note is this specific engine had a Mars light. When looking for a file, you want to find one that had all the lighting inputs that your original Protosound 1 engine had. So I'm going to search around for a Protosound 3 file with a Mars light. I'm not going to show the whole updating process. I do show that in another video. You can click on the link that will pop up and watch it over there. With the relevant sound file and chain file flashed onto the engine and the shell put back on, let's take a look at the final product. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.